No matter how hard you try, you can't just flip a switch when you step into the office and turn your emotions off. Feeling feelings is part of being human. The pervasive myth exists that emotions don't belong at work, and this often leads us to mistakenly equate professionalism with being stoic or even cold. But research shows that in moments when our colleagues drop their glossy professional presentation, we are actually more likely to believe what they are trying to tell us. We feel connected with people around us. We try harder, we perform better, and we are generally kinder. So it's about time we learned how to embrace emotions at work. Now that's not to say you should certainly become a feelings of fire person. Uh, Line exists between sharing, which builds trust, and oversharing, which destroys. If you suddenly let your feelings run wild at work and give people far more information than what they bargained for, you make everyone around you uncomfortable, and you also undermine yourself. So you are most likely to be seen as weak or lacking self awareness. So great to say you weren't feeling well last night. You don't need to go into every lurid detail about how you got reacquainted with your half digested dinner. So there's a wide spectrum of emotional expression. On one hand, you have under em, emoters or people who have a hard time telling about their feelings. And on the other hand, you have over emoters, those who constantly share everything that's going on inside, and neither of them uh, make uh, make a healthy workplace. So, what's the balance between these two extremes? It's something called selective vulnerability. Selective vulnerability is opening up while still prioritizing stability, psychological safety both for you and for your colleagues. Luckily, anyone can learn to be selectively vulnerable with practice. So, here are four ways to get started. First, flag your feelings without being emotionally leaky. Bad moods are contagious, and even if you're not vocalizing what you're feeling, chances are your body language or your expressions might give it away. So if you are crossing your arms or hammering your keyboard, your coworkers are going to know that you're upset. And if you don't say anything, they might start to think about you and get worried. So, if you're reacting to non-work related event, so traffic, for example, flag it. You don't need to go into every detail of it. You can say something as simple as I am having a bad morning, and it has nothing to do with you. Now, if it's a work related event that's causing you to feel such strong emotion, that brings us to point number two. Try to understand the need behind your emotion and address that need. If you suddenly start to find everyone irritating, sit back and reflect on that. And it might be that you're irritated because you're anxious, and you're anxious because of a particular deadline. And in that case, you can go back to your team and address that need and say something like, I want to make sure I get everything done ahead of the deadline. Can you help me to put a realistic plan for that? So if you're thinking of sharing, try and put yourselves in the other person's shoes. So if what you're about to say would help you feel more supported and better understand the situation, then go ahead and share it. But if it gives you any kind of pause, you might want to leave it up. And finally, read the room and provide a path forward. Uh, if everyone on your team has been pulling long hours and you notice that one of your colleagues seems particularly deflated or anxious, you can acknowledge that and show some empathy, but then try to give something actionable that they can hold on to. When we can be honest about what we feel and freely suggest ideas, make mistakes, and just not have to hide every piece of who we are much likely to stay at the company for a long time. We are also happier and more productive. So take a moment to re- reflect on the emotional expression that you need to bring to work every day. And if you're prone to oversharing, try editing. And if you're a little bit more reserved, look for moments when you can open up to your colleagues and feel a little bit vulnerable. And chances are there will be a big difference in how people respond to you. And selective vulnerability might just become one of your most valuable tools. Thank you.